Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Are you? Oh, that red looks really good in the camera, doesn't it? Oh, except for why are we showing the whole cam? There we go. Okay. So, we're pretty close to where we were yesterday. We did break a new low at the end of the session. So there's that. And then it just kind of went nowhere. So I'm going to say we're in a range, and I'm expecting some significant range extension. Also, we need to move over our stuff. Yes, database management, rollover day. Okay, so we got all the FGBL rolls over today too. Well then. So maybe a rollover will change some things in the E-mini. We'll see. And here's the E-mini. E-mini is higher than March 6th. In fact, well, not quite. We're getting there. Probably going to encounter some significant resistance around 2740. So I think that there could be some good opportunities today, and we do have news. It's 6:30, as of course it's Thursday, and there's always the jobs numbers. Right here. Not a whole lot of trading in the E-mini. Well, we'll see what happens. Anyways, and then of course we have Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is really volatile right now, which is actually a good thing. I would say all of this is ziggy-zaggy action and doing all this stuff, that's good. So that could mean this is a short-term bottom. Excuse me. Apparently I need to blow my nose here in a second. Derivatives. Nope. Why is it doing that? It's looking at a past video. So let's get the links out. Copy. Discord. Oh, do we get ECB today? Okay. What time is that at? Euro. Thursday. Oh, they already released it. Minimum bid rate was a 0. Okay. Oh, we could get a move today. We'll see. Good morning, Dan. Well, I feel kind of dead after yesterday, to be honest. Dan. Yeah. It was a rough trading day, and it was a pretty heavy day at the gym, too. So I felt really good after the gym, so there's that. Let's put in the Twitch. And then, of course, you know, there's the Bitcoin. Okay, so they're just kind of going back and forth here. Around 1,000. They did make a higher high on the last pivot. I mean, it could be good. Well, let's see what happens. Anyways, we'll go more into that in a second. Hopefully we get a good number today, right? So let me finish up my breakfast here. I just have a little bit of bacon grease to eat. And then we'll go into the Bitcoin. Okay. Well, I'm not seeing too much volume coming through on the open. So that doesn't tell us anything. That doesn't help. I died inside like 3 times yesterday from the fall in Bitcoin. I don't know, man. I mean, we were like right here a week or two ago. It wasn't that bad. It's not that bad. I'm telling you. Okay, so I don't know what Bitcoin is going to do, but there's one thing I do want to point out. If I bring this out here, probably need to show more than 30 minutes. Let's show 6 hours. Okay, so here we go. Back on February 5th, so essentially a month ago, we were like doomed, right? Like all hell broke loose. We just went straight for the bottom. It was going way below where anybody, well, at least where I predicted that it could go. And we started moving up, okay? This was February 20th. Okay, that was only 2 weeks ago, right? Now, why are we so doomed? Why are we feeling so glum here? Well, we got up to, like 11,780 or so. In here, we came really close to it and we didn't get it through it. So if we had touched 1,200 and then we had come back down to where we are and noticed that we haven't made a lower low yet, would you be feeling so glum about it? I think that's a psychological factor behind why people are more concerned about this particular dip. Now, let me ask you another question. How much edges is there in the fact that it just came up to here and didn't break a new high? Do you have some statistical edge that says in Bitcoin, when on a daily basis you fail to make a higher high, that means that Bitcoin is finished and done for, or something like that? I don't have that stat. Maybe it exists, but I don't have that stat. To me, I do like to look at higher highs and lower lows, but the fact that it didn't make it or that it went equal to it doesn't tell me anything. It's just kind of neutral, to be honest. So I wouldn't say we're doomed. We're just kind of, I think we're kind of in the same situation that we were a little over 3 weeks ago. We're at the same spot. We want it to go up. No big deal. That's just Bitcoin. Now, of course, if it goes down to 6,000, I'm gonna be pissed. But let's hope that it doesn't go down there. Yeah. I expected that. I was surprised by this one. Yeah, I expected it to go back and test 10K, but not go back to 9,400. The fact that it did not make a lower low, this is the only thing that gives us some hope right now. Well, I'd add, I'm not seeing anything significant in the futures, so there's that. And it looks awfully volatile here afterwards, so I think that's a good sign. That is a good sign. Hey, Marius. Okay, so let's run the indicator, shall we? I think it's going to give us like a 70. If it's reporting the right price. Kind of depends on when they took the... okay, so it's showing me the 7th price, 10, 11, 18. It gives an 86. Which is okay. I would be okay with just kind of sitting around here at 10,000 for a month. And I know that's not what you want to hear, but we need to build up some volume, guys. We need people to use Bitcoin. Start using it. What do you think about Ethereum after it's going to solve the current problems and the new upgrades will appear to do? You think it will get more attention? How much higher do you think, in your opinion, it will be worth this year, regardless of the Bitcoin? So it's really hard for me to predict like extremes, and unfortunately my script, I'm still working on my scripts so that it's a little bit, gives me a little bit more information when I run it. Here's this Ethereum one. I really need to make it so that I could sit down and say, okay, if our indicator went back to here, what price would that put Ethereum at? I can only say Ethereum's doing something. It's worth 500. I mean, I think it could easily double. I think we could easily get into the 1,000 ranges. But again, it seems to me that this indicator tends to be low. And when we've seen a currency like that, tends to be a reason. And I think that the reason is in Ethereum is the hacks. So even with the scaling issues, and I think that the scaling issues are important, and when they fix that, it is going to increase its value. For Ethereum to really take off, to like, for there to be a flippening or something like that, I think that we got to do something about the hacking problems. I think that's a huge drag on the currency. You can see here, so just as an example, Verge. So this is one that I've been in. You notice how it's basically been flat. This currency got pumped and has been, and it got back to its base level, and it's been left for dead. So, when it's sitting down here, that's not necessarily a good thing for the currency, because that usually means there's a reason, but it also makes it a good value play. So I think Verge is an okay value play because they've got lots of features, and those features probably exist everywhere else, but not all in one package. So I do kind of like Verge there. I'll be right back. I want to check on something. I kind of smell something. $2,000 seems feasible? Sure. I'd be happy about that. I keep putting a little bit into Ethereum every month because that's the one that I feel the most confident about rising someday. Okay, so here's the poll for the news. Lots of games. What's the number? 231 versus 220. That's good. We sell it here. I don't know if they care. Okay, so not a whole lot of volume came through on that either. Do we have any other news today? Not really. This might be another range-bound day. At least it's a little stable in the current Bitcoin situation. Yeah. Well, I say Ethereum is kind of like your stable play, and Bitcoin Cash is like your high growth play. That's kind of how I look at it. Vitalik said the new upgrades are on track. Cool. So I'm just noticing it moving here up a little bit, that the E-mini is also moving down. So it looks like we've got that inverse correlation going again. The Casper will take longer to integrate than Plasma, so Plasma will be the first update. You think Bitcoin will stay between 9,800 and 10,1 on the weekend? I don't know. Why do you think that I would be able to predict that? I think it could range here for a while. It's possible. It's also possible that it just shoots right back up. It's also possible that it just completely falls apart. I have to say, I feel kind of dumb now in retrospect because I was saying before, well, you know, we've been here for an awfully long time. They don't seem to want to go further. My indicator is saying that we're a little bit overbought. And I should have said, hey, I'm just going to take it all off because I think we're going to go down a little bit. And then buy back in. I could have said that. I really could have said that. And I would have made a good, 40% if I had said that. It just seems so obvious now. But at the time, what was I saying? I can't really say for sure what it's going to do. I see these things, but I don't know if that gives me enough probability to say that it's going to do something. Maybe I have a better feel for it than I thought. So if I'm going to say, based on my feeling, I think that we could range around here a little bit. We could test a little bit lower, but it's just going to search for support and then shoot back up. That's what I think is going to happen. But, time frame, I don't know. Another thing that I've noticed is that time frame wise, it seems like things always take longer than I expect them to. So if I feel like by the end of the weekend we should, have based and be ready to be going back up, that might mean that actually we're going to do that for a week. Maybe Sunday to Monday morning when Korea will wake up. I don't know. Koreans really haven't been moving it up lately, have they? I think the one that you want to see to push us up is India, right? What happened to India? They had an exchange come up. I was hearing good things about it, and then it just kind of like people stopped talking about it. What happened with that one? It's kind of weird, right? Just doing a little type in there. I asked you yesterday and you didn't have a chance to set it which currency that solves all the problems of others have captured your attention. Yeah, I don't know if there's one that solves all of the problems. I mean, that's kind of the thing. You would think that if it existed out there that people would be talking about it more, wouldn't they? But that might be because having the technology all set up right is very different from having the ecosystem set up the way that you need it to as well. You know what I mean? I think that to make a decision, I think you have to consider the community and the ecosystem around it significantly too. What is your thoughts about Electronium? Are you talking about the wallet, or is that something else that I've never heard of before? You guys are always pointing out things that I'm not hearing about or seeing. My only area of expertise in this, I think, is the oh, I didn't like that. My area of expertise is looking at the volume and value.
143 to 20 today, LOLZB.
It's a token. I haven't heard about it before. Okay, what do we got? Don't forget about 143.20. Oh, yep. Are we going to go right back up there in ZB and get stuck? Could happen. Oh, look, we got filled. And now I don't want it anymore. It's acting range bound again today. I think that just looking at the profile here, I could tell. I think that we're gonna go back up to this. And then the E-mini is gonna have to test this before it can move higher. Also, since we are so range bound, I think I'm going to put in an auto take profit. That's one of the things that I've been saying is that, like, we'll get on range bound days.
IQ said ZF moving higher too.
We'll get to the spot that I want, and then I kind of wait to see how it turns out, and then I miss it. So I think that if we're range bound, I think that when we get 4 ticks, because it seems like after 4 ticks is kind of where they stop, I think I should just take it. If I feel like we're range bound, and the overnight range and the volume that's going through and everything else that I see says right now we're range bound. It could break out at any time, and then I'll completely change my opinion. But at the moment, I'm going to treat this as a range bound day. Yeah, well, I don't know what happened to Datamish. Let's check it again. Maybe they just gave up the ghost. Oh, nope, wait. I can see it today. I can see it today. Let's look. Yeah, and let's change this to be like 48 hours. 48 hours apply. Okay. So, was this an organized drop? Well, it doesn't look like it because they really didn't start going short until it went up. And even here you can see when the long started giving up. It looks like it was just FUD. Well, not FUD, but you know what I mean. It was just a panic. Right, so here's where I'm going to be like, I took the vortex and I regret it. I'm going to move it up. I'm going to try it two ways. I want to see how it reacts at 40, and if I see any iceberging at 40, I'm going to get out. Okay, so did you see that when we came up there, hardly anything pulled at all? So we're having this discussion. Okay. So that was a good decision. Because the block buy happened right there and they just blasted right through it and they touched the high. So I'm still a little cautious because every time that I think that we're like really breaking out and trending, and then it turns out that we're not. So let's just kind of watch and see how this goes. And I'm going to watch the 5-year here especially to see, because it seems like the 5-year is we're the one that puts on the brakes.
IQ said
that's another one that I've been having
EB.
a problem. Yeah, and at that 143.20 is definitely a place to watch too. Okay, so don't see anything in ZF yet.
IQ said WE may take out yet.
We may take out yesterday's high. Well, that's quite up there. I could see 120.080 though. Okay, so let's think about this for a second. If we're ranged, let's say that we are in a balance area and we've been range bound, and the move that we're seeing right now is range extension. Then we're going to move to the top of the range that we've been in the past few days, and we can see here that in that range we had last time 095. So they could, if this is range extension, they're going to try and test that, and maybe even higher, maybe even to 145, 150. Okay, iceberg at 040, that's good. Because there's a lot of dumb players, the smallest little
IQ said
tweet,
I.imager.com.
or whatever fake news, etc. sell out. Everybody sell, and the rich ones are going to buy cheap again. Yep. Well, I think this goes back to, remember I keep saying that the Bitcoin markets seem to be extremely one-directional. It seems to me that a lot of what's going on is that there's just robots following the momentum. And so if something comes out that is like a reason to sell, and I think that the news that came out yesterday was a reason for prices to drop short term, just maybe not that much. And so what happens is the robots control the market so much that it's just all of the orders are one way. They go down. And there's nobody there. There's not a player in the market, really, to say, oh, hey, this doesn't matter, I should buy it. They don't do that until the the robots are done. I don't know what's with my voice today. You get what I mean? I guess I always blame it on the robots, but it seems to me to be robot behavior there. Who put the buy order if not someone? Well, I mean, an algorithm could just do it. I think there's some algorithms out there that just are watching Twitter and they see certain things and they take them. Okay, so they started attacking O3 House and they pushed back on that pretty hard. Yeah. But it's called kind of reinforcing, If the robots trade that way, and you're a whale that really likes to try and play every swing, then as soon as that happens, you might as well sell. I'm not confident enough yet to be doing stuff like that. Okay. Pretty good take there. Not the best bid, but I think they could hold on here. Oh, we actually have a good number of people watching today. Oh, I think you're all watching on YouTube and not Twitch, that's why. We're actually equal. Normally we have about 8 to 9 people on YouTube and 3 on Twitch. But today I don't see anybody on Twitch. Maybe I need to refresh it or something. Is it going? No, it says it's going. No, it's just nobody's watching on Twitch. Okay. More iceberging. Did they tick higher there? Yeah, that was a tick higher. Pretty easily too. Hmm. They're not letting it get very far, are they? I guess the ZF kind of came back there. I don't see an iceberg in ZF yet, though. ZF hasn't hit their high. Do you find this spring going slowly crypto-wise? I do. Because and I don't think it necessarily the reason I see it
IQ
going
said nice
slowly.
run up in ZB10T, 4 more to go.
Um the reason I see it going that way is because why should you have serious interest in Bitcoin right now? Like it just came down big. Um Things are still kind of bearish and negative in general. The community just isn't as
Alligator
active
said
as it was.
ZN05 pivot, with a little help from ZF it could touch 10.
You know what I mean? It the it's going to take a long time to generate that kind of interest again. And it's going to take some significant moves and quite a bit of buying for that to happen. For people to feel confident. Like we just lost 80% last month, you know? That's going to scare people away. And so, I think it could
Alligator
be very
said
slow
post
for a
neck
while.
trade.
Last year was the same. We dropped a lot, but the Ethereum XRP, etc., made some moves, and now it's dead. Yeah. So much of the action is just momentum. You know. Right now, no reason for Bitcoin to have some momentum. Maybe think about all the stuff that was happening when we had momentum. Futures are coming out. There was the forks and all that drama. Pretty big investors coming in and taking positions in it. And now, like, what are the headlines say here? They're all negative. All negative. I think that makes now a good time to buy, but I think it could be here for a long time. And it kind of comes back to a question of like, where do you think we are in the cycle? If we look at post Mount Gox, where along that line do we think we are right now? Do we think that this was the bull trap? Do we think that we already kind of fast forwarded through a lot of that downside and we're already at the bottom? Where there was, the no interest phase. I don't know. This is a tough call. And I guess if you're going off of this ethulator, and we say, let's just say for the sake of argument that it's not going to get above 100, well then we're going to have to base here for a long time, and build up more activity in Bitcoin before we would be able to move up much further. Because the way that it is right now, I don't think you can get over like 1300 without going over 100. So you know, it could be slow. It could be like a slow bubble up, I think would be like the best case scenario. Slow bubble up. If we get a fast move up, then I think we're setting ourselves up for the exhaustion move. That's the one that scares me. I want to ask you something that you think is more advantageous for whales than Bitcoin to be at 10K or less to move it easily with less money, or 20, 30K, and it will be more difficult to move the market. So are you saying if I was a whale and I wanted to pick a cryptocurrency to manipulate, which one would I choose? Well, if I had a ton of money and I was going to specifically manipulate the markets, and now granted, I wouldn't do that. Okay. But if I had a lot of money and I really believed in something and I was going to buy it, I would probably do it in a way that would generate some interest, right? And if it was me, I would be going into the ones that, based on my indicators, show are undervalued. And I think that those would be the ones that would be easiest to generate some interest in. So I think
Soylent said, what would you consider a footprint for robot activity / end of activity that you discuss for BTC market?
So I don't understand that question in the Discord here, but let me answer this other one first. So like Verge is probably a good example. That currency has basically been left for dead. And you can actually see somebody actually did pump it at some point. And it's already kind of back down to a place where I think it would be prime to pump again. But there's some reasons to own it too. There's actually a pretty good community in Verge, and that currency actually trades a lot of volume compared to where it's actually trading at, compared to the price that it's at. And it has a lot of features. It has a lot of privacy features that aren't necessarily in other coins. Do you think that is better for them that Bitcoin is slow? It depends on what their time frame is. For me, I expected that, yeah, and the attention for crypto is lost, or the Bitcoin is up to 20, 30K. You know, ES trying to make new highs. Is ES moving up? Oh, yes, it moved up. With ES moving up, so we did get a good buying spike there, but we also got a good sell in ZB. So I'm watching this 14 here. In fact, I think this is a good spot to reset things. I might just have to take the +4. I'm not sure I completely understand what you're asking, Marius. A footprint for robot activity / end of day activity that you discussed for the Bitcoin market. Yeah, so the activity that I'm talking about, I'll show you here when we don't need to be quite so focused. But if you just watch the order tape and look at big orders, and you'll notice that they all go one direction. Another place where I would look for robot activity is around any kind of significant even numbered moving average. You will always see action there, and it's very, very common for Bitcoin to just bounce perfectly off of those. And so you could look at those and look at some of the attributes of the orders, like how quickly they come in once that price is touched, how much size there is on those orders, and things like that to kind of try and identify robots. And if we had something like this, then we could definitely look at robots and stuff, you know. Like as an example for robots, something that I've found happens quite frequently, especially in ZB, is that robots will buy with market orders and immediately put their limit orders in at their targets. And so it's not uncommon to see something like this where the two prices below us in ZB, we have a bunch of robots looking to buy it. And all the time I'll see people saying, "Oh, look, there's an 800 there. That might be a big number for us to pay attention to." No, it's just the robots have their, that's always there. And so you can see those sorts of things in the Bitcoin market as well. Another thing is anything that looks really random. So the best example of that is like here in ZB, for instance, there's only 120 bid. And there's a pretty high probability that they're going to sell that 120 and come back down. And, see? And now they've only put up 150, so now there's a pretty good probability that they trade back up. Okay, so it didn't do that. But, when you get that sort of back and forth, that to me is just robots. Because the robot doesn't know or care that it's slow or that there's nothing there. It just knows that if it can get that 150, it has a pretty good chance at being able to get out at 15. And that's why some of the action that it gets is kind of random, because it doesn't really care about the overall direction of the market, But when you come through like what we just saw there, that wasn't random, because then somebody took it, it absorbed, they tried to sell 13 and it's absorbing at 13 too. So that kind of looks to me like two guys fighting it out. Market pressure being selling. And here this market pressure in CF selling is not good either. So I think we have to take it here. Oh. Yeah. This back and forth here. Random. Just robots. That's how I look at it. Random, and then the other big one is that if it's fast. If you see somebody buy a ton of contracts here, and then at the exact same instance you see a bunch of size show up somewhere else on the DOM, that was a robot. Only robots put things up and down so quickly. Or, you have a step and you see big changes, like right there. See how a bunch of them changed there? Robots. Not that I would consider a robot. Okay.
Block cell.
Gosh dang it. It's unusual to see Tyler go two directions like that. There was a buy at 04, sell at 03 halves. Okay. And I really missed this one right here. That was probably my exit signal that I was looking for. Remember when I said, oh, let's wait for a big iceberg order in ZF? And that's... Why did I miss that? Me yapping. Well, I don't think you want to trade the whales per se.
IQ said, why would that be an iceberg in ZF 1388? It trades many big numbers.
You know, it seems to me that over 1,000 in ZF is actually significant, though. Like an iceberg, 3,000 is probably equivalent to 5,000 in ZN. That's been my observation, but I've just noticed that when I see these kind of moves like this, I always see that 1,000 there at the top. So I think I should be trying to take it be like, you know, there's 300s, 100s, it comes up. There's 1,300, try to hold it, it goes through. Oh, do I have to?
You do.
Okay.
7:30 is when they need to be, make sure they're awake. 8:30 to leave for school.
Okay. So speak of the devil, there's a 5K order right there at 030. I don't know. We're going to have to replay this one. I'm going to have to look at this on replay and see, okay, what was it right there? Because I think that was, I mean, that was clearly the top of it. And there was 1,000 there at the end. I think it's significant, but I need to watch it play out. So anyways, you don't necessarily want to be trading off of just a whale, you know? Like here in the treasury markets, are we whale watching? For sure. But I'm only whale watching because I think that the whale has a much better idea of what way the market is going to go in general with me. If it's just a whale, that trade usually doesn't work out very well. And we've seen that before. And then the market fights against them and they lose. In Bitcoin, what we want to see is you know, maybe a whale moves the market, but then the general public comes flooding in after them. You know, that's what you want to see. And I kind of feel like right now that the general public is just not interested. You've got all the people that have always been in the cryptocurrency market that care, and you're not seeing new people come. You're not. And us, we're kind of, 5 years from now, we're going to be like the rare breed of people that actually lived through that and experienced that bear market and stuck around. Because most people just get burned and go, okay, whatever, and they leave. I also, it's really hard for me to say how much impact a whale can have on Bitcoin. But I wouldn't discount a whale trying to use
my
Bitcoin.
Observation in ZB: when you see 4 and more price levels are pulling or stacking that direction, we move in.
Yeah.
Tucker said, damn. The morning I take off anticipating that it'll be slow before NFP is the morning we get great action. Oh well. Okay, so did you notice that there was an order there at 09 and they took it off? See, it was right there for a second and then it disappeared. Okay, so I don't think I want it here anymore. IQ said normal ZB first HR range of A11.
So ZF is starting to come back up again. So if we get another good buy in here, then I think that my previous theories come back in. But if we tick up to this 0400 and I'm not seeing that continuation, then I think I have to take the 4 ticks. My phone. I don't know if you guys hear that. I can hear it in my headphones though. The cell phone signals interfering with the microphone. I always say that's the CIA listening to you. In bonds, we watch the big guys because there's no way a guy trading 5K clip can trade that size and not know what he is doing. If he doesn't, he won't be a whale for very long. Yeah, a good point. You could have a lot of money in Bitcoin and be an awful trader. there are some people out there that, because they got in early and whatever, are, have a little bit of pull in the community. And I wouldn't listen to a word they say because they got lucky. They didn't get to where they are because they're a great trader. They got to where they are because they took a really, really dumb risk and it turned out for them. Yeah, I feel like when Bitcoin is going to 20, 30K, everyone is like, oh my gosh, let's remortgage the house and buy Bitcoin. We are going to be rich. And that's why we call it a bubble, my friend. Okay, so you see here, this is another bubble in ZF 308. And we didn't trade through it. That's what that right there is. Okay, so when they traded above the VWAP, there was a little bit of pulling there. And ZB came along. Good deal, strong tick up. I think I can relax a little bit. Do you think the institutional money will come in if the market is still not regulated? Are they waiting for SEC regulation? Okay, well, so first of all, the type of institution that you're going to see try and play that kind of market is going to be hedge funds, generally speaking. And hedge funds are already absolutely in. So, the other thing, I don't know if it's really a relevant question anymore because the news yesterday was the SEC came in and said, oh, hey, by the way, cryptocurrencies do fall under our jurisdiction, and if you're an exchange, you need to register with us and all of these other things. So I think that the cryptocurrency market is going to be regulated, and this is a really good thing. Like, this is why I think that's one of the reasons why I'm not panicking so much right now, because I feel like, yes, we could go down a little bit, but this is good news. This is good news because this means that the government is going to put a stop to some of the bullshit that goes on in cryptocurrency, these pump and dumps, the trade manipulation, all of the other nonsense that goes on in Bitcoin. The SEC is going to start cracking down on it. And yet that could mean that some whales and strategies that people are using and that move markets are going to go away, and those particular people might exit the market because of it. But that also means that it's safer for everybody, and that opens up the way for a lot more money to come into the Bitcoin market. This is good news. Yeah, exactly. No more pump and dumps. Yeah, and it's good news for us because we're able to look at the order flow, and we've been practicing the skill of trading, whereas most people that have been trading the cryptocurrency market are just following momentum and trade manipulation. So the edge that we have is going to become more important. That's good for us too. That's how I look at it. do you find on a 4-hour of flag formation for Bitcoin? I I could kind of see how you might say that. It's a flag. I come back to what you say, the 4-hour chart. You're saying this is just a flag and it's going to go lower. Could be. There's not really any way to tell. The thing that I'm seeing the way that I'm interpreting it is there's a lot of big range bars here, much more than we see anywhere else. Even here, you notice there was one, but then it kind of calmed down. Whereas on this one, it's like, oh, okay, so there was two. Maybe there's not. Anyways, what I'm looking for is volatility. I want to see a drop and then volatility. If we see an extended period of volatility, that is a really good indication of a bottom. If it's too organized, like this one, they immediately came back up, retested, went back up. That was the one where I said, I don't know, guys, it might not be over. You remember that? I prefer the volatility. Now, granted, it was pretty organized when it reversed too. Immediately went back up. But I prefer, because we see this in the E-mini all the time, I prefer an extended period of volatility and then a move up. That's what I like to see. Okay, well, this is looking like a VWAP bounce play now, so I don't know if we played this the right way, but I'm happy with the way that it's developing. Oh, so I should point out that that was the equities open too, right? So the first move on the E-mini was down.
Soylent said highly appreciate your answer. So BTC market is market orders driven market, you assume the robots that move the market use bigger market orders as opposed to smaller orders HFT, market.
Market maker type activity. You know, that's a really good question, and I've asked myself that many times. And I don't really know. So just think about the treasury market here. We get these block orders here, like that 040 and the 035, you know, and I've been incorporating those quite a bit into my strategy. But the thing is I don't really know if that's a robot or a person that does that. I mean, I'm sure that there are some robots out there that are throwing some pretty big size, but I don't know if, you know. One thing I will say is that if you see a ton of orders come in all at once that are all kind of like random sizes, that could be a robot or at least a splitting algorithm. Well, geez, that was no good. Crap. So that just kind of flipped there with no warning, and it does look like it's the E-mini again dominating us. You see the turnaround in the ZF? Welp. I think we screwed that one up, guys. As long as that I'm seeing that delta there and the E-mini going up, I don't want to be touching it. So well, where is the E-mini going to go to? I know, Beach Bum. When it came back up to that 4, I was like, oh, okay. I think we're good. My original theory is actually starting to take hold, and that looks like a VWAP bounce and stuff. And then it came back, and now I took it off, and it's looking like it's coming back on it again. Yep. I should have been treating it even more range bound than I was. And then even then I got out at a really shitty spot, didn't I? Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it still took a profit on it. Right, it doesn't take much, especially when you start trading with size. So the question is, I think the thing that I still haven't figured out, and really, like, I need set rules for myself. And the question is, when should I just take +4 ticks, and when should I extend it? And because if you watch, my tendency is I always want to extend it, which is great for those trending days, but usually these things take 4 ticks and then stop. You know? Hmm. Good deal. I don't know. I don't know if I should feel too bad because something like this, there, and then head fake, and then back. I think that's always going to fake me out. And there's no way to have known that if it was going to go through the view op or if it was going to bounce there again. And that's why it should have been. I should have taken the +4 there. Could have gotten back in at 04. Could have gotten back in a little bit earlier. By, you know, not feeling bad for myself. Take profit at the edge at 050. If you feel it's going to break out after you take profit, you can always get back in. Yeah.
IQ said 2 more to go ZB Anno.
Okay, so that was some strong upticking now. But they're at the 4 ticks, sure enough. So let's watch this one more closely again. Yeah. Well, that was kind of a breakout signal. But I think today is a little bit of a special situation too, though, right? Because we were range bound yesterday, and we're just moving into yesterday's range. And we are coming towards the top of that range. But so I definitely have to take a profit somewhere between 08 and 10. If not at 065. Okay, so there's that 1,000. You see it?
Block buy.
Okay, it kept going.
IQ said money mouth face, that fucking 2-0 arrived.
Right. That was an excellent breakout, thank you. I mean, as soon as it went right back up to was when I realized I took a profit and I was feeling bad for myself, and then when I got over that and I looked at it and I said, oh, we're right back to where I wanted to take profits anyways, I realized that I had been had, and that this was actually going to do exactly what I thought it was going to. Okay, so now here's another spot. Okay, nope, that's firming. Oh geez, wow. Okay.
IQ said you could been on the ZB merry-go-around.
Yeah, so let's be careful here because we are at that 20.
IQ said upside TGT 27R.
Okay, so now we're seeing a 5K in ZF. So I think this is we might have to take it. Yeah. That 3,500 looks awfully aggressive though. Okay. So it started to pull. Oh, no, they still tick down. So I'm still a little unsure. The E-mini is actually moving up now. So that's the funny thing. Is at first we were so driven by the E-mini and that's what pushed us in, but now it's completely ignoring it. Or they're both going up. Okay, so this is backticking enough that I think that they're going to keep.
IQ said IQ, today at 7:50 a.m. WE may take out yet.
Is 20, is that?
IQ said 23/24.
Wow. We keep seeing these targets just keep showing up above us. See, now there's one at 120. They're every 2 to 4 ticks. Oh. Okay, they hit it and somebody's still buying it at 07? What? Is this going to be a
IQ
level
said
break?
dog walking time ZB should take breather till 9.
Okay, so the 4500 is still there. That's good. You're gonna have to tick back up. It's not unusual for them to tick down. And it'd still be a level break. Yeah. Okay, so there they put it up. Now you might see it firm up. They're all lined up. They're all lined up to do it. So I want to see that 070 firm up a little bit. Nope. A lot of volume has gone through there though. Okay, that was the stronger tick up. Okay, so we'll give this one more tick up. Oh, that was pretty strong tick. There we go. Now they're gonna take it. Hit it. Oh, don't be shy, guys. Come on. Well, that's kind of weird. I would have thought that they would have hit 07 halves right there when the 07 was firm. Ugh. Okay. Do it like that. Oops, I forgot to bring you guys back up. 45K contracts at 07. It was, yeah, pretty crazy. It is, there is a huge iceberg here. Now, this has gone back and forth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times. Well, now they're hitting it. I guess I gave up a little bit too early, but when it ticked down, that was way too much. They should have hit it for a level break and they didn't. So this is just really congested. Yep, and even that, I mean, that's pretty crazy action right there. I'm shorting SPX if it futures about to break out. Do you think that the E-mini is going to take a dive here? Something's going on. Yeah, the 08 to 10 area is... That's kind of part of why I took the profit there, though, because it just seems like way too much resistance here at 0.75. Like, that was a strong move up, but what just happened there was even stronger and crazier than the move up. Look at all those bubbles. It's been back and forth through here, though, enough times that it could totally bust through it. Okay. Yep, they did. Break out, what, to the downside? I call that a breakdown. Okay, so there's 66.83 at 10. That's because that was the pivot. So it seems like there's more interest in the pivot than there was like the other levels. I'm in a pretty significant imbalance here. Just stepping up on both sides. I've never seen that. I haven't seen them square up like this in a long time. So I could probably get filled here at 07 house. Long. Wow. when they square up like that, they usually both get filled. At least in ZB they do. I've never seen this. I've never seen it quite like this in ZN. So let's see how this one plays out. They very often will both get filled though. Oh, NQ could make new all-time highs. Yeah, Jeffrey is saying that he thinks that CN is gonna, or sorry, that the ES is gonna fall apart. Okay, so I was right about getting filled at 07 halves. Now the hard part is getting filled at 08 again. When I was doing this in ZB though, I would usually get away with it 60% of the time though, so we have a pretty good probability here. Keep in mind tomorrow is non-farms payroll, yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting that we're getting the action today, aren't we? Oh, good deal. It's like, oh crap, I didn't put the garbage out. My wife did it. I never remember anything. Yay! I was worried there for a second, but I felt pretty good about that edge would hold through into ZN, so I'm happy. Oh, was there a storm yesterday? Maybe that's why it was the storm pretty bad, huh? Yeah, a lot of traders coming back to work from the storm yesterday, a very low volume yesterday. Yeah, yesterday sucked, man. ZN not out of the woods yet, still in resistance, but should break if SPX does. Well, they are at the low of the regular session. Looks like they're going to go for it. And this right here is a breakdown. Wow, I actually... that is really interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that many bubbles on a move down. So that would indicate to me that they fought it and lost big time. I got about 15 minutes here, and then I have to get the kids ready for school. And I will drive them. I will keep the view going, and we'll come back. By the way, how are we doing today? Oh, okay. 8. Is that right? If we take the +1 on this, it's 8. I do want at least, well, not at least. I'm really not sure if we get past the 10th, so I have to take it off at the 09.5. Here, the E-mini. Yeah, that looks like something that could really fall apart. Okay, so we need to change these bubbles because this, obviously the circle turnover is too low. Okay. And they're not going to break out into a new high until the E-mini falls here. And this is also, if you look here, view up from the regular session. Yeah, right at it. Well, whoever was buying here in the E-mini is still fighting. And we wouldn't have gotten filled on either side here yet, would we? Although I know we could have taken a tick because I know that we got at least 2 ticks out of that. Okay. They're definitely playing the E-mini here though. Notice how the E-mini kind of crept down a little bit and all of a sudden the level 2 flipped. And now we're back up to the 2733 and it's the other way. I took 20k short on the SPX. They are wrecked, it will dive. If the E-mini gets below 2730, there's definitely some downside potential. I definitely see that. And the volume, and the key thing is the volume supports it. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at the wrong E-mini. Oh, interesting. Yep. So, hold on for a second. I have to change the camera here. And yes. And now we're on June, right? Yeah, much better. Yeah, below 2730. It didn't actually, so I was showing the wrong instrument here. I was still showing the current contract instead of the June one, and we rolled over today. But I was, so it's really, we're not quite to 2730 quite yet. We're not to Pound Town yet. But when they dropped through the regular session VWAP, it definitely some, yeah. Definitely something happened when it came through the VWAP, and I think there's a pretty good chance that we'll break through that 2730. To 12016. Yeah, the pivot from that was yesterday's high. I'm still going to take the 09 halves though, because I have to go, and I'm not going to leave this going while I'm gone. And two, because 10 is a significant pivot, so even if there is a really good chance that we see 16 today, there's also a really good chance that they dink around at 10 for a little bit. So, best case scenario, we take our profit at 09 halves. Yeah, don't be a pleb, it's a breakout. Yeah, it's best case scenario. We get out in 09 halves, take the kids back to school, come back, see it at 085, take it long again. Yeah. Yeah. No, it already fell through the VWAP. Did it? Or maybe you're looking at SPX, so maybe it's a little different. The futures, they've fallen through the VWAP on both the regular session and extended session basis. Yeah, you're looking at Onata SPX 500 USD. Well, and now that's curious that the E-mini is sitting there right on the edge now, and the treasuries are not up at, I would think that the treasuries would be up on the other side of the range where they are. Like, do they not think it's going to happen? I mean, it's definitely going to happen. And they tick down to it like that, see? I guess they're not all trading June yet, because there was a lot more size on the March one, wasn't there?
Dad?
Hey, babe.
We need to go soon.
Yep, I know. We still got 5 minutes.
Dad?
Mm-hmm.
I can't find my box that has my tooth in it.
Okay. Well, it's somewhere in the house, so I'll look for it when you guys are gone.
Okay.
Okay.
It's orange.
Okay.
Has like a molar tooth in it.
She had a tooth pulled yesterday. E-mini is done.
We've done everything we need to do. We've done our bathroom and we've brushed our teeth.
Okay.
I'll just go get some socks.
All right. Thank you. Maybe I don't actually have to go at 8:15 if they're all that ready. I don't know. I think the probability here is maybe 60%. And the reason why I'm not quite as confident as you are is just because, you know, we've been here. We've been here. We've been here. And, you know, we've been here recently, and if you go even further back than that. So, like, we're in a pretty congested area. So it's like, is it like a big deal that we're touching 2730? Not really. The probability of the S&P breaking down. Let's say the probability that the S&P breaks below yesterday's low. Let's say that. I'm going to say 55 to 60% chance. You notice though, ZN has gone dead. ZF is selling a little bit. More so than it would be on like we're just messing with you. Like sometimes we'll see it where so if we come up like this and we start ticking
Delta
back
said
down.
YBAH looks like LVN.
Yeah, if we come up in cumulative delta and then price starts coming back down and cumulative delta is flat, then that is often a really good, you know, this is a bull trap sort of a thing. Yeah. We're not seeing that. We're seeing ZN has been in the same spot. Cumulative delta is equal. ZF is coming off a little bit. E-mini is ranging. So I am thinking that there's a good probability of a breakout, but I'm not too uppity about it, and we're coming up on our time, so I may, unless we get a really strong uptick here, may have to just take it to break even. Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a lot of volume at 070, right? Yeah. No volume on this retrace. I guess we did come back 4 ticks, didn't we? And no down volume. Well, then a little bit. I'm more concerned about what I see in ZF and ZB. I don't see anything happening in the spread. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Well, now I've gone from 60 to 55%. I think there's, well, I think there's a really good chance that we get to this 30. I really think that the S&P 500 wants to test that. Okay, so they are absorbing some at those 7, so that's good. Okay, well, since there already. I guess we can wait another 5 minutes for this, but at the moment it's not playing out the way I would have expected. So I don't see that. I see some volume showing some interest in going short and a lot of people defending it. That's what I see. So it's a good setup. It's a good setup, but I don't see it being toppy here just because, like, look. We were here this two days ago. Same spot. It's not even up that much, really, when you think about it. They're just testing the range. Okay. Well, that was some significant sell volume right there. Maybe the E-mini flips here. Right at the VWAP. Right at the extended session VWAP. Why is my stop at 06?
It's been more than 5 minutes. It's been 7 minutes.
Yep. Get your shoes on. We're almost there.
Everett, Abby!
They're so concerned. So concerned. Oh, I did get filled there, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay. All right, so it took -1 on that one. We'll be back, and maybe then by then it will be a little bit better spot. Yeah, 15. That's right. And that's right. Okay, cool. So we'll see you guys in a little bit, and maybe by then we'll have a better view of things. Right now, though, it still looks pretty range bound to me. Okay, so we're back. I got until about 8:50 and then I have to go in for work today. Oh, which by the way, I should get that ready. Boom, so I can just stick that and go. All right, and what am I seeing? I can't say I told you so, but it definitely hasn't gone yet, has it? So, although I could have taken a tick on that last one. Ugh. Okay. I think at the moment, how can we show this? Just in Treasuries. So let's just start with Treasuries, okay? Treasuries have been falling since February. And since this trade deal news, we've kind of had a couple of big moving days, but it's kind of been all over the place, hasn't it? And notice that the spread has been flat. Okay. On a shorter time frame here in ZN, we've been in this spot many times. And we are, by the way, right at a pretty much where yesterday's point of control was at 070, where we saw a lot of volume trade at. And although we do have a few point of controls above us, so at 10 is a really good target. 110 maybe even. Okay. Similar sort of things going on in CV. Oh, I need to put the volume profile on this one. And then in ES again, you know, for us to go higher, we were higher a long time ago. We kind of had this move down and return. They have not really tested the downside yet. They haven't gone below the 2730. So my read on this is we're within a range. Treasuries just had a return back to a portion of the range, and it's kind of the upper part of the range, but it's not like the top of the range yet. We'd have to go above 10 to be the top of the range, okay? So when we did that and what happened, there was huge volume coming out. So I'm going to have to say that was range extension and they stopped. It doesn't mean that they won't keep going, but that's what I'm going to say what just happened. And here we're seeing it again in the E-mini. They're testing, they want to test the lows, but they haven't quite gotten to levels yet where they'd actually be doing it. So it's still a possibility, and we are still seeing a lot of volume come through in Treasuries. I have to say that was probably a signal, but I don't think that I'm going to get filled now. Oh crap. I did not actually get filled there. Okay, now it got filled. Okay, so to the conversation going on in the chat though. So I think you guys have some some good arguments, but I think that when you look at the risk reward that you're talking about here, your upside, what did you say it set as your upside stop? Entry is 2732. Okay, but what's your upside stop? Because to the upside, I would not count out anything below 2770. Is totally within the cards. Like it could go up to 27. Well, let's not say 70, let's say 60. It could go up to 2760 and then still totally turn around and fall apart. We are seeing some indication here that the Treasuries want to make another push. They're doing a level break setup here. There's a lot of volume. Lots of flickering on the level 2. Yep, good deal. +2. And I would expect to see a lot of absorption here at 09 halves and 10. Yep, so they're going to trade 4,000, 5,000 maybe here at 09 halves. Okay. Anyways, so I mean, I do kind of wonder what your stop is. Oh, 2741. 2741. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. For today's high. And then on the downside, you've got like all the way to 2690, 2680, right? Yeah. So I think your risk reward is pretty good. And I do think, well, order flow wise is a little mixed. I do think that the Treasuries are in your favor, and I kind of almost wonder if the Treasuries are moving up, making a bet that the E-mini falls. Because I don't see any other reason to be going up. Not like that. So I think your risk reward is okay, and I think you have a little bit of probability in your favor. So I would say that it's a good trade, but you seem just a little bit too confident about it. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, you've already made a couple of ticks on it. Just for me, anytime that I don't put enough qualifiers on something that I say, I'm wrong. It's like if I hedge too much, then it always goes through and I'm like, oh, well, I should have been like way more, should have been like, oh guys, this is totally get everybody take a trade right here, and I would have been right. And I always but then when I don't put enough qualifiers and I don't say it may or there's a probability and I forget that, it always screws me over. So and not only that, but when I'm doing well, have you noticed? So this is something that happens, and this is what maybe part of what sorry, Beach Bum was talking about earlier. It seems to me that like I'll get a trade and it'll be +4 on me, and I'm like, ah, this is totally gonna go. Like this is a done deal. And then I get like the confident and I stop paying attention. You know? And then the exit signal will come and I'm too slow. I'm not anticipating it. and then I say, well, maybe it's not there, and then all of a sudden I'm down 3 ticks and I lose a lot. So you always got to keep, I would always put the qualifier on here to say like, okay, we have a really good trade setup here short, and it looks like I have a good probability that's going to happen. But I wouldn't be like, oh man, it's so clear this is definitely going to happen. I think that if you go with that kind of a mindset, that eventually you're going to lose big. And we've seen that happen, right? People so like well, like last was it Friday? Last Friday, where I said, okay, I think that there's a good probability that we're going to move up. And there was a lot of people that were saying, oh no, for sure, it's not going to do that. And I ended up being right, but some of the people that were like really certain got pretty screwed. In fact, there was some names, I won't name names, but there are some names that I noticed did not come back after that. Yeah, I can't lose big with this tight a stop. Yeah, but you did well. No, I'm not saying that you're gonna lose on this trade. I'm just saying it looks like you have a good trade to me, totally. But I'm just saying that in the future you're gonna take one where it's gonna mess you up, or you'll go on a bender. So like if you're really like for me, I'm pretty good at. I set that stop at 4. I want to take it before it gets to 4, and I rarely ever take more than a 4 tick loss on a trade. But when I do poorly, what happens instead is I'll take a 4 ticks loss, then I'll take another 4 tick loss, and I'll take like four tick losses in a row, you know? So that would be where you would get screwed. At the moment, Treasuries appear to be trading way too much volume at each price to really be like breakout imminent here. Where did you get in from? 2732. So did you already take the profit on it, or are my numbers on the June contract just a little bit different from the ones that you've got? See. Yeah, so first I want to reiterate, it looks like it's a pretty good probability trade. But to say the Treasuries chart is a clear breakout, there's no such thing, dude. No such thing. I don't believe that there is, at least. You could look at something in retrospect and say it's a clear breakout, but man, I have seen it way too many times, especially in Treasuries, where it breaks out and they flip it on you just like that. I think you've got to be, always got to be suspicious. So on the instrument that you're looking at right now, what price is it at? Because mine says it's 27.33 essentially. How is that a breakout? Like, look, how many places were we at this price? And like we said, that 10, where was it? This one right here? No, it was this one right here. This 09.5's the 10 would be a resistance point, and it hasn't gone through it yet. So it's a potential breakout, I suppose. But I'm really skeptical at the moment that we're going to come up to a level like that 10, and trade that many contracts, both directions, and then that's a breakout. Yeah, rollover is today. I'm thinking we'll see a tight range tomorrow, and anything could happen from non-farms payroll. Seems like a crapshoot to me. I think you have some good points. So did you notice when I switched this instrument over, in the E-mini, so I'm still kind of messing around with rollovers, okay? Because I know that the rollover between Treasuries and the E-mini is a little bit different, but I've always been trying to trade with a combine account, and they just tell you which one you're allowed to trade. And now I'm allowed to trade any instrument that I want, and when do I switch them and things like that. So for Treasuries, it's usually I stay on the current contract until the month changes. But I thought it was going to be the same thing for the E-mini, that the rollover day was going to be the day that everybody would switch, but they didn't do that, did they? There is way more liquidity in March than there is August or June. So, with that said, I think that your observation there is really important, that they're still trading on the previous contract, and there's going to be all sorts of options and stuff attached to that, and that tends to make it stay in a range. Yep. Now the other thing that you pointed out is that there's pretty significant number tomorrow, the non-farms payroll. And so that's also another thing where it's like people don't want to trade ahead of the big number. But I will caution on the non-farms payroll. I kind of wonder if the non-farms payroll is not as significant as people think it's going to be. Because one, the number could just come in right at expectations. And two, what's like really been driving markets right now? All of this stuff about trade and tariffs, that's kind of the driver right now. And the non-farms payroll doesn't tell us anything about that. So in order for non-farms payroll to really, not really, but I think for us to get a really good move off of it, I think that there would have to be a really big outperformance or miss on it, Yeah. But I'm gonna have to leave here in the next 3 minutes. But to me, I was saying we're gonna get range extension up, and it looks like that trade did work out. But then there was just crazy. Look at all these dots here. Crazy absorption here. Now it's on both sides, but look, they traded 7K right there. 7K bought, they didn't break it. Here they traded 8K and 3K against each other. And when you start seeing icebergs all over the place, that's ranging action. And whenever I we get into this sort of stuff and I say, oh, okay, so like there's a huge imbalance, and if they get above this level, like it could totally break, and I'll always see it that there's going to be breakout, and I'm always trying to trade the breakout. And then afterwards I go and I say, oh, there was so many icebergs, and I should have known that it was range bound. So today now I'm noticing it. I'm seeing, I can, with my mind's eye, which isn't very strong, but I can see myself in the past, and I'm saying, okay, I have seen this before and it's range bound, so I think that caution here would be advisable. Bum, bum, bum. Oh yeah, I didn't know that. The non-farm payroll syncs with the first day of the new contract, which falls under the March FOMC. Okay, so it is a more important number than usual because we have an FOMC, is what you're saying. But also, just that's part of why the non-farm payroll runs the way that it does, and that's actually probably why they have the contract roll over there. Interesting. Okay, well, we're back to the 7. So I don't know. So I'm going to take my +8. I'm super happy about it, especially since yesterday really sucked. But I think we made more than we lost yesterday. I'd have to double check, but we don't have time for that. Anyways, seems range bound to me. Be careful, please. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for non-farms.